Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to my channel. If you're not familiar with the channel, I make videos on goal setting, personal finance, and a little bit about our minimalist lifestyle. Today I'm going to make a video. It's a little different. I haven't made one of these videos in quite a while, and it's actually a tag video. So before I get started, what is a tag video real quick? Basically, a tag video is usually based on a specific topic. A lot of times it will have a set of questions related to that topic, and what we do here within the YouTube community or the online community is we tag somebody to make the video. So they either talk about the topic that was tagged or they answer the questions that the specific questions that were on the tag. And then usually you tag other people who make videos about the similar topics or a topic that's related to it that their viewers might get a kick out of hearing their answers. So the one I'm going to do today is called the Minimalist Tag. So I was not tagged personally, but I have been watching everybody's videos and been loving their answers. And because I make videos about my minimalist lifestyle, I felt it was something fun for us to do on the channel. So this tag has 6 questions, so I'm going to answer the questions. And basically, I'm supposed to tag somebody else to do the video as well. So I'm not going to tag a specific person, but if any of you out there are watching and you make videos and you happen to talk about minimalist living, then I tag you. You're it. Okay, so let's jump in. So the first question is, what drew you to minimalism? I actually have a whole video on this, and basically the title of it, I'll link it below, is How Dave Ramsey Turned Me Into a Minimalist. So minimalism actually started as frugal living, trying to manage my money, my husband and I trying to get out of debt, we were gradually cutting costs. And the more we cut costs on things and the less, it started off, not getting haircuts or not buying as many clothes or cutting out internet or things like that. It started opening up our eyes that we really didn't need or even want a lot of the things that we were paying for. So it started off as frugal living and cutting things out, and gradually it turned into this less is more, that feeling of that. The other thing it kind of led into was more about my time and my energy. So living in a smaller space, having less things meant less time and energy that it took me to clean these things and maintain these things. So that's pretty much what drew me to minimalism. Was started off as frugal living, and then it started to evolve into making my life easier and having more time to actually do what I wanted to do. So I had a whole video on that. If you guys want to check it out, I go into more detail. Question number 2, how did you start the decluttering process? So I've always had this habit that every once in a while I would go through and declutter like pantries or things like clothes, things like that. It's something that I've kind of just always naturally done. But I would say when we did like the huge declutter, it actually wasn't because, hey, we're becoming minimalism and we wanted to get rid of everything. It actually was, we decided to travel in an RV. This was back in 2016, so we were working our way to get out of debt. So we got out of debt and we sold everything. We started downsizing specifically so we could fit in the RV, and we didn't want to have a storage unit full of anything. So kind of how I started that whole process was I just started with a group of items that were easy. Like say our movies, right? Every movie that, now everything's pretty much electronic, so I don't even know why we have movies. But I bought one of those folding holders where you'd put all the DVDs in there. And we got rid of all the cases and put all the DVDs in there. So little things like that is kind of how I started. And then what I would do is just, I'd go from item to item like that. And then what kind of helped too was we ended up doing one move before we went in the RV. And when we did that move while we had the U-Haul truck, we donated bigger items like our desk and our couch and things that we didn't want to sit around and wait and sell. That brings me to the other thing was decluttering. We did a lot of garage sales and listed stuff on Craigslist. But I recommend reading The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. This would actually help you go through those areas that I was talking about in a more systematic way that also correlates, that kind of helps you emotionally to process going through them. So I highly recommend that book. I read that book after we had already decluttered or downsized, as I would say, but I refer to it now to keep my space minimal. A long-winded question. Number 3, have you ever counted all of your things, and if so, how many do you own? No, I haven't. I mentioned this in other videos. I don't follow a certain, wardrobe, like the 333, where you have, 33 items of certain things. I don't do anything like that. I haven't counted anything. I know some people do like the 100 items. So I'm not sure how many we have, but what we do, we're pretty content with what we do have. So things like clothes and my children's toys, certain things, if we bring something new in, we usually get rid of something old. So we're kind of keeping that from building up again. Sometimes we'll bring something new in because it's something that we've been wanting and we need, and we don't have an old one to get rid of. So, but that's a good, that's kind of what we do. We don't count items though. Number 4. What are your tips for dealing with the desire for more? Yeah, so I think everybody, we all have the desire for more. It's kind of like our nature, right? So I don't know what my tip would be. For me, it's kind of just because I become content with what I have, kind of going back to the life-changing magic of tidying up. Her whole thing is, does it spark you joy? Is it something that you truly need, and do you truly like it and want it? So I always say, when you're thinking about something and you want something new, kind of keep that in mind. So I've been lately, like, if we're gonna bring anything new in the house, I want it to somewhat go together. I used to have a bunch of mismatched stuff, so now it's more or less, okay, is that gonna fit in my space? Is it actually gonna go with everything? So sometimes I think twice about actually purchasing it. And then once I actually find something to purchase, the biggest thing for me is that within my budget to even buy it? So it's kind of going into more of a financial thing. Number 5, how do you deal with non-minimalists in your life? That's a great question. You want to accept everybody for who they are. You don't want to push what you believe in on anybody, no matter what it is. And I know that's easier said than done, right? So a good thing that I think about, because I have several people in my life who are definitely not minimalist. They could be almost borderline hoarders even. And what I do is I just remind myself, why am I friends with this person, or why do I enjoy this person? And I focus on that. I don't focus on them not being a minimalism, because unless we have come into each other's lives because of minimalism, then I don't mind it. If though, say they have a space that is extremely cluttered and extremely chaotic and it brings me a lot of stress, I just don't offer to go over and spend time in that space. Instead, I invite them over here, or we decide to go out and we meet somewhere else. So I don't force anything on them. And that's pretty much how I deal with it. I just accept them for that's their deal. And if they, some people see my place and think, wow, you guys don't have anything. Again, that's just, everyone has their own opinion. So that's kind of how I deal with people who are non-minimalism, is I just don't worry about it. And the last question, number 6, is, do you have any guilty pleasures where minimalism doesn't apply? I think our camping gear, that's probably one area we are adding more camping stuff. However, because we've added a new tent, I actually have some tents listed for sale on Craigslist. So we are trying to, trade in one for a new one. Otherwise, I don't really have too much of anything. There are things that I, would like to add, but I try to keep in mind if it's gonna be fit for my space or whatever. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the tag. I hope you enjoyed my answers. Now, some of these topics, I kind of went on a tangent. I could probably make a whole separate video specifically on these, some of these topics. So I might actually make separate videos. So if I do make separate videos that go into these topics in more detail, as I do, I'll add them to the description box and you guys can check them out if you want. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.